Have you ever wondered how apps like Zomato sends you SMS, update your order status and notify the kitchen all at the same time? And the moment you place an order, that's not magic guys, that's called event driven architecture. And today we are going to learn about the same, how it works, and I'm going to show you a mini project by using Spring. So guys, watch this video till the end if you want to learn more about it. Now before we move on, just a quick info guys. Simplilearn has got full stack Java developer master program. You can master Java with this course. You can accelerate your career as a certified Java full stack web developer and acquire essential industry skills such as React, Angular, Spring Boot, Hibernate, and JSPs, while mastering MVC and web services to craft highly scalable application. This course is in collaboration with IBM. So guys, hurry up now and join the course. The course link is mentioned in the description box. So let's get started. So event-driven architecture is a software design pattern where different parts of the system communicate by sending and reacting to events. You can think of an event as a signal that something has happened, like user registered, order placed. So instead of calling each other directly, services just emit these events. And other services can then decide whether or not to react to them. This makes the system more flexible and easier to scale. You can imagine something like broadcasting a message. Whoever wants to listen and respond can do it. But the sender doesn't need to know who the listeners are. Imagine you go to a pizza shop and place an order. So in traditional setup, the cashier would need to manually tell the kitchen, alert the delivery person, and notify you when it's out for delivery. Each step tightly connected. But in an event-driven system, placing the order is just one action that triggers a chain of events. The kitchen, the delivery system, and the notification service all listen for the event ordered. And each reacts in its own way. And the cashier doesn't need to coordinate with everyone. This makes the system faster, more efficient, and easier to update in the future. So that is how your event-driven architecture works. So before I move forward with a hands-on example to explain event-driven architecture, let us first try to understand what synchronous simply means. Imagine you are at the same pizza shop. You place your order, they give you a token or a buzzer, and then you go sit down. You might scroll through your phone, talk to your friends, or just relax. You're not standing there doing nothing while the food is being prepared. And then what? The food is ready and the buzzer rings. This is what asynchronous meaning is. In the same way, a program can send an email, save a record, trigger another service. And it doesn't have to sit idle waiting for the task to finish. So that's the meaning of asynchronous is. And it has a very important understanding to our event-driven architecture. Now, for today's example, I'm going to be using Eclipse as my IDE and Spring Framework to understand more about event-driven architecture. So let's build a simple application that uses the event-driven architecture. Imagine we are building a user registration system where a user is going to register. So we want to do three things: send a welcome email, log the event, and notify the admin. So instead of writing all these actions in a big method, we will emit an event and let different parts of the system react to it independently. Now, let us try to add some dependencies all over here. So the language I'm going to choose is Java. Let the project structure be building tool be Maven, and Spring Boot 3.5.3 version I'm using. You could give your metadata of your project. So let's say com.event. Okay. Let's keep us the artifact as demo, name as demo project for Spring Boot. Let us keep Spring Web. Okay. So for now, for this small demo, we could keep just only one dependency, that is Spring Web. Now click on generate. So after that, you could see my given zip folder for this project has been initialized. Let's unzip it. Now click on import, click on existing Maven projects and browse it. So this is where my given folder is there. So click on finish. So you could see it has started importing the project. You can wait for some time. Let all the dependencies be installed. Now, let us create our given folder. So you can see inside src main/java, just go all over here and let us start creating our given packages. So let's say our first package be user created event. So you could type after here. Similarly, let us create user service. Similarly, let us create email service. And finally, we can create a notification service. Now let us create the respective class files. Now let us understand the purpose for these class files. So you can say demo.application Java. So this will be the Spring Boot application entry point that is going to trigger our event. Next one you can see all over here, we have user created event.java. So it contains a custom event class that carries data like the username. Then we have this class called notification service.java, or basically we could list them under the listener. So these are the listener classes that I have created. The notification service, user service, and the email service. Now, let us try to understand a little bit about it. So imagine you are placing an order in Zomato. You place an order, so an event is triggered. The kitchen is going to start preparing the food and you are going to get an SMS. The delivery person is also notified. So can you imagine like one action that is placing an order triggers multiple other actions and they all work independently. So we are building the same logic for our user registration. So here user signs up, email is sent, admin is notified, and user activity is logged. Now let us look at to these respective classes. If I say user service class, so this is going to be the class which is going to register a new user and publish an event. Then we have user created event.java. It holds the data about the newly registered user. Then we have email service all over here. So it listens for the event and sends a welcome email. Then you could see we have an audit service. So it logs the registration event. Then we have notification service, which notifies the admin push notification. So that's the purpose of it. Now let us try to understand each one of these classes by looking at the respective codes. So if I go add user created event class, so this is a custom event class, okay? It is going to hold the data what we want to pass when event happens. So in this case, username of the newly registered user would be there. You can imagine something like this, like it's like a delivery order slip that says user given username has just registered, and other parts of the system like email, audit, and notification will read this info and respond accordingly. Then you could see we have user service.java class. So this is the class which simulates registering a new user and then publishes an event using Spring Application Event Publisher. So you could see I have used Application Event Publisher. So I have instantiated the instance of this, okay? And you can consider something like this all over here, like you are placing your order, okay? Now Zomato sends that order to the kitchen like a SMS system and a delivery tracking. So all are triggered from this one point. So we have private final application event publisher. Then we have added the user service constructor all over here. And you can see I have passed this instance all over here. Then I'm registering a user. So string username system.out.println, and let's say registering a user. Now you could see in this class, I have a field called username, and this is the constructor where I'm binding this, and there is a get method to get the given username. Now, if I look at the email service class, so this is a class, okay, which is like a kind of an, you can say, where I am trying to put up all these things. So you could say it's an event listener class, okay, and handle user created method I have created, which is basically creating that particular event, okay. And here you could see sending an email. So whenever a user is going to register, you're going to get a welcome email. Now you could see we have a notification service also, which is similar to the same thing. So this is notifying the admin that new user has registered. So this is also a listener class. And finally, we have the audit service class. So you can see all over here, notify admin, user created that particular event, and it says system.out.println, notifying admin, which is new user registered. So event.getUsername would be there. So that's one thing. And let us look at to our class. So you could see command line runner. Okay, we have injected the user service instance all over here. So I'm using auto add annotation. This is the main method, and this is going to run the given respective user service that, let's say, the particular user, let's say Nilesh, has registered it. So this is the basic idea about an event-driven architecture. Okay. So if I will also like to show you my POM file so that you could use the same dependency. So you can see I have just used only one thing, that is Spring Web. Rest all are same. So I've not used any other dependency. So guys, you can create this project to get a brief or a basic understanding what exactly is the event-driven architecture. Make sure to use the idea about how the order is happening. All the one action is triggering different set of reactions. So you can see one set of action is triggering different other actions also. So that is what event-driven architecture is. I hope so, guys. You would have got a brief idea regarding event-driven architecture. Thank you guys for watching this video. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon. If you like this video, do share it with your friends and keep learning.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.